Ah, man, I just got done watching Acolyte. I made a review of it. It'll be in the link description right under this video. And it will show, by the end of this video, my recent video, which will be that. But Critical Drinker made a review of it. And let's see what he says, but I already know. From reading this title, The Acolyte Episode 1, A Stunning and Brave Disaster, you already know what he thinks about it, but let's go. 3, 2, 1. Critical Drinker, what do you think about it?
Another day, another chance to witness the horrific spectacle of Disney prodding and kicking the bloated corpse of Star Wars in the desperate hope that it'll let out a burst of flatulent gas which they can pretend is a sign of life.
Yep.
In this case, our latest desperate prod of the corpse is The Acolyte, possibly the most unanticipated and unwanted Lucasfilm project since Willow.
Yes! I didn't watch Willow, though.
A spin-off from the disastrous High Republic books that nobody read, starring a bunch of characters nobody cares about, played by actors that nobody's heard of, and helmed by a woman that nobody seems to like. Really, what can I say about The Acolyte that would make you want to watch it?
This is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars. Gayest?
Margin.
Anyway, now that I've seen the first 2 episodes, I'm at least in some position to assess the show's merits. And believe me, this shouldn't take long. The first episode opens with strong female antagonists challenging strong female Jedi to a fight in a bar.
Yeah, that's what I forgot to say. They were strong. For some weird reason. Why? Don't know.
Attack me with all your strength.
And I must admit, it was nice to see Carrie-Anne Moss back in action, and never mind. You know, it's interesting that characters can survive lightsaber injuries like this, but a small throwing knife to the chest is enough to take them down and end their lives.
You know, that's what I was thinking.
Shows how much I know about human anatomy, I guess.
That's what I was
thinking. The other side of the galaxy, and we're introduced to strong female character number 1. Strong female character number 1 is a plucky young woman with a knack for technology who's also strong with the Force. Where have I seen this before? Anyway, she works as a mechanic, or sorry, mechanic.
Are you serious?
On the outer hulls of space freighters, doing the usual stuff like repairing power couplings and putting out fires? Sure, yeah, okay. I guess fire in The Acolyte doesn't need oxygen like in other shows because it no longer has the patriarchy holding it back.
Yeah.
You go, girl Fire. Things are going great for her until she gets arrested by dumb male character and strong female character number 2 for the murder of strong female Jedi. See, it turns out that strong female character number 1 and strong female antagonists are...
The first is female!
Actually twin sisters, and so naturally people mix them up after the murder of strong female Jedi. And what is all of this based on, you might ask? Why, the eyewitness testimony of the bartender where strong female Jedi got killed. Not DNA samples, which actually would have made more sense since they're twins, not hologram recordings or security footage, just a guy who saw a young woman kill strong female Jedi. Now, you probably don't need me to tell you that eyewitness testimonies can be notoriously inaccurate, especially in highly stressful situations where our brains release all kinds of chemicals and stimulants to try to keep us alive. Chemicals which often cloud our judgment and blur our memory, making us not particularly reliable when it comes to accurate recollection of people and events. I mean, given that he's an alien, I'd have to assume as well that his description of the suspect would probably have boiled down to a young black human female with her hair in braids. Now, in a galaxy composed of thousands of colonized planets, there'd have to be literally billions of people who fit that description, yet apparently this was enough to bring them straight to strong female character number 1. Like... how? Also, you might assume that being on the other side of the galaxy at the time of the murder, with multiple witnesses to prove you were there and no means of travelling to and from the site of the killing, would be a pretty strong alibi, but not according to dumb male character at least. Oh yeah, and in case you were wondering what his role in the story is, it's to be consistently wrong about everything to make the various strong female characters look better by comparison. Anyway, they decide to ship strong female character number 1 back to Coruscant to answer for her
make me kill them.
crimes. Now, you might
So
think it would make
I didn't
sense
say
to
much
just
about
take her
him.
back on their own
Didn't
ship,
care.
because why wouldn't you do that, right? You're there with her already, and there's two of you, so you could keep an eye on her and make sure that she doesn't try to escape. Because if she really is responsible for killing a Jedi, despite all the evidence pointing against it, then clearly she's smart, resourceful, and powerful. You don't want to take any chances with this one, lads. Or you could put her on a regular old prison transport with minimal security
Dude,
and
the
just
makeup
assume that
sucks.
everything's gonna work out fine.
It sucks.
And wouldn't you know it, within about 2 minutes, the other convicts stage a prison break, overpower the one and only guard droid on board, and leave her alone to crash land on the planet. Which she survives because an uncontrolled crash from orbital velocity is definitely the sort of thing you can walk away from.
Yep.
Anyway, back on Coruscant, we're introduced to Squid Game Guy, who receives word from
I didn't
strong
even know that
female
was him.
character number 3 that strong female character number 1's ship has crashed. They know this because they picked up the escaped prisoners from the escape
Very
pod,
woke.
but they haven't gotten around to investigating the crash site yet, and are thinking about sending out probe droids to take a quick look. Okay, back up a second because I really want to go over this one. If you recovered these prisoners from the escape pod and brought them all the way back to Coruscant, that must mean that you already had at least one Republic ship in orbit around the planet to recover the escape pod in the first place. So you're telling me that instead of investigating the crash site for survivors, which would have been on the planet directly below, you instead brought the prisoners all the way back to Republic headquarters and then asked for instructions? So, like, are you retarded or what? Also,
Oh,
if strong
I
female
realized
character
that,
number
too.
3 looks
When I
familiar
was
to
watching
you,
that.
you might recognise her as showrunner Leslie
boring
Headland's
film.
wife. I'm sure that had absolutely nothing to do with her casting in this show, just like James Gunn doesn't let family connections influence his casting choices either. Anyway, Squid Game Guy decides that he wants to take a look at the site for himself, because strong female character number 1 was his Padawan once upon a time. So he
Indeed.
rounds up dumb male character and strong female character number 2 and heads off to the crash site to investigate, and almost immediately runs into her after ripping off a scene from The Fugitive. Then he explains
Exactly.
that strong female
Apparently they
antagonist
knew
is
exactly what she
definitely
was.
dead because he saw her die in a fire when she was a kid, so strong female character number 1 is the only person who could possibly have committed this crime. But then strong female character number 1 is like, I didn't do it, trust me bro, and he's like, well, I'm convinced. Fuck me, you're easy to win over.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I believe you. I can't.
Yeah,
I
it's good
can't.
to see that a Jedi Knight won't listen to evidence, logic, or reason, but a single unverified claim by a woman with absolutely no reason to be truthful is enough to totally change his perspective.
Indeed.
Like, I'm very much in the camp that rational evidence would be enough to exonerate her in this case, but if you're not even willing to listen to that, and are still convinced that her twin sister died because you apparently saw it happen, then what other conclusion can you draw here? You know, here's a crazy idea. How about you do that forced mind reading thing that you did earlier with one of the escaped prisoners?
Exactly.
That would clear up everything pretty quickly.
Indeed.
Either she would open her mind to you and you'd be able to tell if she was innocent or guilty, or if
Exactly.
she tried to block you, it would be a pretty strong indication that she was trying to cover up her own guilt.
Exactly.
But nah, one quick conversation's enough to change his mind, I guess.
Apparently.
Meanwhile, strong female antagonist goes for a walk on a beach and meets up with Discount Venom, who delivers what may be
Who
one
the
of the most
fuck is that?
nonsensical monologues
That's
in the
what I was
entire
wondering.
show.
Steel or laser are no threat to them.
She literally did kill a Jedi with a fucking blade less than 30 minutes ago. Like, do these people even read their own scripts? Do they even think about what they're writing? Then he ignites the red lightsaber for no other reason than because they want you to know that he's a Sith, and that's it. That's episode 1 over.
Yeah. Yeah.
What a completely retarded mess this show is. It's built around literally the simplest by-the-numbers murder mystery plot, complete with twin sister
And
femme
very
fatale
woke.
tropes and everything, and
Very, very woke.
somehow still finds a way to fuck it up. And it's all held together by insane coincidences, ridiculous contrivances, and decisions that run contrary to logic and common sense. Andor showed us how a murder investigation can be conducted in a smart, gripping, tension-building way, with a combination of deductive logic, interesting character moments, and explosive bursts of gritty action. You get the feeling they were trying real hard to emulate that tone and feel in this show. The only things they're missing are brains, creativity, imagination, and writing skill. And that's not the only problems at play play here either. The acting is terrible, the fight choreography...
Yeah, I forgot to say that too. The acting is really bad. The acting is actually really, really bad. When that woman said, "May the force be with you," on my face, I was like, jeez.
Weak, nobody looks like they actually want to be here, and the pacing is god-awful. The episode could probably have been wrapped up in under 20 minutes without all the point...
I can't with that goal! Hold on. That goal with that... Bro, come on! That's funny.
Up in under 20 minutes without all the pointless time-wasting travel backwards and forwards and redundant conversations telling us stuff we just saw happen. We're only one episode in so far, and I can already see how they're having to stretch the paper-thin plot to try to spin it out into 8 episodes. This show might aspire to be something like Andor, but it's more like Book of Boba Fett. And believe me, it only gets worse with
It's not worse than it. It's bad though. It's bad, but it's not worse than it.
Episode 2, but I'm gonna have to cover that in a separate video because I don't think my mind or my liver can handle too much of this stuff all at once.
That's what I'm saying.
Anyway,
that's why I'm not watching the second one.
That's all I've got for today. Go away now.
What a bad film. Well, Critical Drinker clearly hates it, man. And I clearly said what I said about it. There's some things I did forget to say. Yes. He did claim to say, "Yeah, he did, she did it. And apparently one word from her is like him apparently convinced that, like, yep, she did not do it. Anyway, that's all I got for today. Hopefully y'all don't watch the film just like we both did. But if y'all do, good luck. Because it was not fun. But that's all I got for today. See ya. Man.